Alright, apparently there is an internet fad going around that is only slightly less idiotic than the Tide Pod Eating Challenge. This one is a prank called pulling people over or impersonating a police officer. Get up here. Why is there a diaper on the table? It's clean. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who I am Viva Frei, a Montreal commercial litigator turned YouTuber. I make fun videos, but every now and again I have to do these legal analyses of things that pop up on YouTube that I find so intriguing that they require some form of commentary. I most recently did a couple of videos on Tanacon explaining the situation and, you know, my legal reflexes to the facts at issue.
Impersonating a police officer.
Oh man, oh gosh. Now, I've seen a couple of these videos. Apparently a YouTuber named Chris Sales got arrested for doing this and faces now a maximum sentence of 5 years in jail. Here's the deal. This is not a prank. This is a
felony.
Impersonating a police officer is a criminal offense pretty much in every jurisdiction I know of. If it's not a criminal offense, do not go to that country because you never know if someone is impersonating a police officer. Okay, calm down. In Canada, dude. In Canada, it is an indictable offense and the penalty is up to 5 years in jail. Let me just read to you the actual offense. Section 130 of the Criminal Code. Everyone commits an offense who falsely represents himself to be a peace officer or public officer, or not being a peace officer or public officer uses a badge or article of uniform or equipment in a manner that is likely to cause persons to believe that he or she is a peace officer or a public officer, as the case may be. Perhaps it's because I'm a lawyer that I take certain basic elements of knowledge for granted, but this is why it's not a joke. It was just a joke, officer. You guys are making this a little difficult to do. Come here. Okay. Just stop it. It was just a prank is not a defense. This fucking work. I'll tell you why in a second. These dogs are out of control. This is probably the perfect time to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button. It's right down there below on the right-hand side of the screen. Thank you. Yeah, I saw this on Keemstar this morning, and when I saw his video of it, I said, this is too much, I have to chime in. I forgot exactly what I left the house to do. Alright, so the package has been shipped. Now it's off to stop 2 for plans that I have for the weekend.
Hey, good day.
How you doing?
Hey, man.
Yes, do you mind if I record in here? Okay, awesome. Here's the thing about criminal law. Criminal law requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt of 2 elements of the crime. One is the actus reus, which is the actual act of committing the crime. The other is the mens rea, which is the intent to commit the crime. And it's a little bit more subtle than this, so we're going to go into it in some detail right after I pick up what I came here to pick up. 125 feet of bubble wrap. Okay, now a lot of people on YouTube and in the world think that it's a prank is a legitimate defense to a criminal offense. It isn't, and here's why. How you doing? I got plans for the weekend. Thanks. Let's just take, for example, kidnapping. Now, I don't have the criminal code in front of me, but let's just define kidnapping loosely as taking the child of a parent without the parent's consent. The actus reus consists of taking the child. Did somebody actually take a child of another person? The mens rea is, did they have the intent? Come on. Did they have the intent to take the child? The defense would be, I had the intent to take the child, but I wasn't really trying to kidnap the child. Well, too bad. The requisite criminal intent, the mens rea, is not to commit kidnapping. It's to take the child without the parent's permission. Even if you did it as a joke, you still committed the act of kidnapping. So let's bring it back to impersonating a police officer or pulling people over. Too much bubble wrap. We have 3 kids and 2 dogs, so we live in a state of constant squalor. We're not dirty people, we just live in dirty conditions. Whatever. No. We're working. Nope.
Si tu pètes chaque ballon,
Oh yeah, ça c'est le problème. That guy just said quite humorously, if we pop all the bubbles, we should be able to fit it in the car. Now, getting back to the impersonating a police officer pulling people over. I saw one video where the guy was proudly displaying the badge that he was wearing around his neck. So let's get back to the actual criminal elements of the crime. Criminal elements of the crime. Falsely represents himself to be a police officer. So these guys are gonna say, no, we didn't say that we were police officers, we were just donning badges which would lead any reasonable person to believe that we were police officers, which brings us to the second subsection, not being a police officer, uses a badge or article of uniform or equipment in a manner that is likely to cause persons to believe that he or she is a police officer. That is the actus reus, doing that. The mens reus is, did they intend to do that when they did it? When the guy was wearing a police badge, was he intending to cause a reasonable person to believe that he was a police officer? The answer is yes. The fact that he was joking is not going to be a defense to both elements of the crime. Guys, do you not see that I'm working here? The "it's just a prank, bro" is not an actual defense to the two elements that consist of committing a crime: the actus reus, which is the act, and the mens reus, which is the intent to commit the act. Don't think that it being a prank is going to be a defense to it being a crime. Oh, actually this is important. Certain crimes, it being a joke, could be a valid defense. One of which, or the most common of which, is uttering death threats. Saying, "I'm gonna kill you." You can undermine the second element of the infraction, which is the mens reus, the intent to utter the threat, if it was a joke and your intent was never actually to make them feel threatened. But there are a great many crimes where it being a prank doesn't change the fact that you have committed both elements to the infraction. One is the act and two is the intent to commit the act. Don't go kidnapping kids, running them down halfway block, think it was just a prank, I was gonna bring your kid back. No, you've committed both elements of the crime. Get smart, people. The internet is not for this, although I guess it is, but whatever, it shouldn't be. Keemstar, let's do a collab. I can do this for every time you have one. I can be your resident legal analyst. Very superficial, I don't want to do any research, I don't want to do any extra work. The reason why I left law was because I didn't really love doing it, but it seems that people on YouTube like these types of videos, so I'll keep doing them as the situation warrants. People, don't impersonate police officers, it should go without saying. Peace out.